Good morning, everyone. You know, all of us have been affected by addiction, whether it be a loved one currently battling an addiction or sadly a loved one who may have lost their battle. And our next guests, though, are here to help. Greg Hannley and Daniel Baldwin with Sober Recovery are here along with Miss USA 2006 and recovery advocate Tara Connor. Good morning.
Good morning.
And a new friend.
And this is Gypsy.
She's so cute. I mean, she's so cute.
I tell people that I'm like Lisa Vanderpump without the cash.
Without Jiggy. Without the zillions of dollars. Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you, Gypsy. Glad you're here.
Mwah.
So we always like to start off with trending topics. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Demi Lovato, which is so sad. I'm glad she's back in recovery. But for people who have maybe been living under a rock, she has struggled her whole life with addiction. She was very open about it. She even did a documentary that really was very detailed and graphic. And then recently, I guess a couple of weeks ago, she overdosed. She nearly died, was sent to the hospital. She's doing okay now, but they're saying she's going back into long-term recovery now. So she's going to go back again. I just want to get your thoughts on all of it and what happened.
Well, I think that sobriety and recovery it's a illness just like any other illness that's out there, and unfortunately relapse can be part of the disease, and sometimes we have to have these experiences in order to see that our lives are unmanageable in that way and that we could die, and in this case she almost did. And so I think that it was an experience that she needed to have, but unfortunately, you know, there was an overdose involved. She's lucky to be alive, but that's what we deal with all the time.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. People go to the dentist and get a tooth pull and they put them on Vicodin, and then the next thing they're overdosing on heroin. But with her, you know, she's young and she's
only 25.
is
Right.
busy. So what happens when you're new in recovery, you really hit it hard, and it's part of your daily life. And then things come, you know, life comes and you get busy, and it's kind of like it goes a little farther and back you, and then all of a sudden it's all the way behind and it just sneaks up.
It's just so sad, everything she's been through, and I can't believe she's only 25. Right. And she started so young, Daniel, in the business.
Yeah, you know, the three of us deal with celebrity, you know, clientele, you know, people that are struggling. And yes, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of traveling involved, it's hard. But this is not cancer that you have a tumor removed and you're done. There's a program of action and tools that you get, which is why you would go to SOBA, because the most qualified and the best teachers are there. You have things you have to do when you get out. You know, I don't want to come down on her or anybody who relapses. It is part of it, as Tara mentioned. But the same amount of zealousness that is given to, she has to have her makeup artist, she has to have her hair artist, she has to have her this. Her agents could just as easily say, by the way, throw this on the bill too. She has a sober assistant that comes with her. She has to go to meetings. She has, so there's work that's involved that to maintain your sobriety. It's not you go to recovery and then you're done.
Right.
Not in most cases.
Yeah.
I feel like she did have a team behind her.
She did. She had a sobriety coach, and even in her documentary, I mean, he was with her all the time.
But I think what happens too is sometimes we get involved with the wrong people, or sometimes people that offer these services are just doing it for the financial gain and not for the well-being of the client. So I'm not saying that that's the case here, but you know, recovery is something that you have to work on every single day, and it has to come first, because if I'm not sober, I don't have anything.
The other thing that happens is that I think she had a little time, maybe 5 years, and you can forget, you know, or you can think, you know, my problem was coke, or it was heroin, or whatever it is, but I could probably have a drink on the beach, or I could have a glass of wine, and your shield comes down.
Right.
And when you do, and I hadn't had a drink in 15 years, because I know if I do, there's a very good possibility my other hand is going to have a drug in it pretty quick. So I see that a lot of times on relapses. People think, you know, I could smoke a joint. I could have I could have a glass of wine. That wasn't my problem. And you can't go back and play the penny slots when you're a dollar player.
But when you're
That's a good analogy.
when your radar is up. Greg recently had a thing, I think it was with his neck, and he had to go non-narcotic, obviously. And so the medication that they gave him, he didn't like how it made him feel. And so he immediately said, you know what, just the feeling of how this is, even though I know it started setting off alarms in him. Why? Well, because he's dealing with people that in sobriety. He's at meetings, he's at morning reflections, he's on the phone with moms and addicts. So because it's kept right out here in front of him all the time, just the feeling of something that didn't feel right, and he was like, yeah, no, I'm not taking it anymore.
Nope. Yeah.
Well, and
That's
it's also,
so smart.
it's a mental disease, and it lives between your ears. And unfortunately, like, our mind kind of like tells our body where to go. Like, I'm basically a vehicle for my brain. And if I'm not treating that part of my brain, which is where the disease is centered, then you're either going towards a drink or you're going towards recovery. And so
There's no in between, right?
There's no in between.
All I was thinking about is how lonely my disease must be up there.
in between the
I
ears.
have to, yeah, mine's not
empty
lonely.
space.
Mine has a lot of fun up there because there's a bunch of people in there
Having a
doing
good time.
crazy things.
Oh, you guys are great. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk more trending topics. We're also going to talk about the cover of your publication, Recovery Today. We'll do that after the break. So many. And we are back with Greg Hannley and Daniel Baldwin with Sober Recovery, along with the beautiful Miss USA 2006 and recovery advocate Tara Connor. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we were talking trending topics. We just discussed Demi Lovato. I want to ask you guys about this article that I found, because you've said different things depending on the situation. So families are choosing empathy now over tough love to rescue loved ones from opioids. And you say that's a good thing, but I've heard other people say, no, it's all about tough love. You have to make them go into treatment.
I think it depends on the situation.
Well,
How do you figure it out?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
how do you figure out
I'm not a big
which
tough
route?
love fan, because you can end up at a funeral parlor, and the people are sick. Now you got to find that line in between codependence and empathy, but so you don't kind of engage and let people do it. You still try to intervene, but you don't do it in a way that people are going to run from you. And putting somebody on the street, it's just not the way to do it. People can disagree. They have a lot of people that are really firm, kick them out, do the stuff, throw them on the street, and then when they die, then you can't fix that. But if I have good communication, wouldn't you say communication is key?
For sure. Communication is everything, and I agree. Like, we shouldn't have to kick people on the street because they're sick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone is, destroying your life, even though you're showing them empathy and you're trying to help them, like I had to have tough love. Like, I was one of those that if I'm not miserable, I'm not going to move.
Yeah.
So I have to be very uncomfortable before I decide to actually make a change in my life. Not anymore, thank God,
Right.
sometimes, but not all the time. But I had to really be uncomfortable and see that my way wasn't working. And I think that, you can say, I love you more than anything, you're my family, and I know that you're sick and it hurts me to see you this way. But, it's, if they're destroying your life, then it just depends on the situation.
Well, and it doesn't mean that you're still, I tell, when you have a chance, especially when a lot of the kids are dependent on you, on having a phone, on having money, on having a car.
Need all
on
those
Take it
things.
away.
I can start just
Yeah.
grabbing those things
yeah.
and tell, look, if you're going to do this, you're going to be walking, and you're not going to do it in my house, and I'm going to
Right.
go in, and
Right.
I'm going to test you. And the thing is this, I can continually make it difficult all the time, and I can show up and be involved and be in their business until finally I get them to treatment. That's what they did to me.
When they're happy to go to treatment.
Yeah,
You're
look,
like,
I had
"Get away
enough.
from the
I had enough.
Yeah.
I'm done.
There's a couple of stages of this. Greg will always say, and I steal this line from him, am I an addict, am I an alcoholic? Does the quality of your life suffer as a result of you ingesting one of these substances?
Right.
If you say yes to that,
Yeah.
then you got a problem. Because the quality of your life
In
is
any
suffering.
way.
So understanding what codependency is, you get the biggest audition of your life tomorrow morning. The biggest, and your wife is out in a bar again, and you're pulling into bars at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to find her car, affecting your sleep and your ability to. That's true codependency.
Yeah. Right.
When the quality of my life because of the addict is suffering dramatically. So with that said, I've been in the room many times where I've told the parents beforehand, I'm going to tell her to pack her bags. I'm going to say, if you're not going to do this, go in your room. That doesn't mean you're not going to put them in a hotel room.
Right.
That doesn't mean you're not going to.
We're going to take care of you.
But it's
still.
not going to go on in this house anymore
Yeah,
with other
right.
children in it. So I'm a kind of a combination of Greg. He's nicer than I am.
Yeah.
Well, they
I
say
get
go
what
to
you're
treatment,
saying,
go to
though.
treatment, go to treatment, go to treatment. You know, it might be a good idea for you to go to treatment.
Yeah.
And so finally somebody, if you catch that window, when they go, man, I'm tired of this, I think I'll go to treatment, then you go,
You got
let's
5
go.
minutes.
Right,
Let's
right.
go.
Yeah,
Let's
5
go now.
minutes.
You
before
really
they
do,
change
right?
their
Like it
mind.
really
Yeah.
has to be that quick.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Good advice on that. I also want to quickly talk about your latest issue of Recovery Today, which is Greg's publication. And on the cover is Jayson Williams. And he, of course, plays in the NBA. He played for over 8 years in the NBA, struggled with alcoholism, had a tragic thing happen, went to jail, got out of jail, and now he is just living his life to help other people. And, of course, that's wonderful. And you know so many people like that. But, I mean, it's obvious why you chose him, but... You know, what makes his story special?
I mean, I think that you have to look at people as being people just because they are NBA players or NFL players or Miss USA. Like, at the end of the day, we all kind of have the same story. And it's just the human condition. Like, we all deal with these things. Some of us just do it loaded.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's nice to see that no matter how far down the scale you go, like, there's still a way up and out of what you're going through. There's never an end. There's only a choice. Do I want to keep going down this rabbit hole until I've touched the bottom and die, or do I want to try?
See, I use it as tools. People know that I do the show and that I do it with Tara. So if I have a female client or a male client that I'm trying to get in, and I got to hear the woe is me's. You know, well, you don't know what it's like to not have any money. You don't know what it's like to, and I go, you can be the most you can be the most beautiful woman in the world.
That's true.
Have the world
That's
elect
true.
you as the most
Yes.
beautiful, and still
Yes.
screw it up.
That's right.
So if you're an addict, you're an addict. It doesn't know color, creed, money. You know, take a look.
It is what
you
it
know,
is.
it can hit
Thanks,
you no matter
guys.
what.
It's really
She
good
is
for my
so
self-esteem
gorgeous.
today.
And she's gorgeous on the inside, too, which
Aw,
is
thank
what
you.
makes
She
her
is.
even more amazing. Okay,
Little
when we
lamb.
come back after the break, Greg's like, what about me?
Greg is the most handsome
Yes,
man in the
he
world.
is.
He
He's
should
the
be on
most
the Old
generous
Spice
man.
commercials where
The most,
No.
no, the most
Spice.
interesting man
men in the world, Dos
That's what
Equis,
you should
but
be.
that's
He
alcohol.
should be.
So we're gonna do the detox version.
I am Greg
We'll do
Hannley.
that.
He'll be the face of the detox.
Oh, face
duels.
of OPITOX.
I am Greg Hannley, karaoke expert. I am the most interesting man in the world.
What he said. We'll answer your viewer questions after the break. You could be like the spokesman for O'Doul's.
No, I'm
No.
OPITOX. I'm the spokesman for OPITOX.
OPITOX.
Wait till you hear this.
I wanna
Are we
hear
ready to
about
break it out?
Sometimes we do things for the thrill. Sometimes we do things for survival. There have been different points in my life where I didn't know if I would survive. Seek humility, or it will find you. I have faced many fears, confronted many challenges. Having the courage to overcome the beast of addiction is by far the biggest victory of my life. True victory is victory over oneself.
Welcome back, everyone. Greg Hannley and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery are still here, along with the beautiful Tara Connor. And we're about to make an announcement. Well, you are.
Yeah.
This is a game changer in your world right now, something you've been working on for a very, very long time, and you're finally ready to talk about it. Let the cat out of the bag.
Well, we have come up with a formula that includes some natural plants, one of them being from Africa, that is non-addicting, non-narcotic, and you can do a home opiate detox with it.
There's nothing like that out there
No.
anywhere.
No, nothing.
This is it.
Yeah, you can't overdose, you're not going to get high. It's got things like valerian root, which will help you sleep. It's got a alternative to Suboxone, which is a you know, very heavy detox drug that you have to detox off of.
Right.
But it's inexpensive. My partners it's a big pharmaceutical company that is backing this. And they agreed also for each kit that we sell, they're going to donate a kit to the veterans and to the
Great, Greg.
like nonprofits
That's
and things like that.
awesome.
So
Wonderful.
people are going to be able to. It's called OPITOX, and people will be able to detox at home.
What does this
safely.
mean for people and for families? I mean, what type of game changer are we talking here?
Well, it's an alternative, and the nice thing about this, it also has long-term pain management in it, to where there's nothing really in between Vicodin and Tylenol. So it's got ingredients in it that it's changed my life. I'm
Yeah.
completely pain-free, and I met these guys on a different thing, and then we added this formulation to it, and I've been able to detox people without any
amazing.
problems at all. And
But take a look
Amazing.
at, you know, this is a person who has a program in several rehabilitation centers that the advent of this product would hurt him business-wise, and he doesn't care.
Because he wants to help people.
He doesn't
He's doing
care.
it for the right reason.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
So he's going to go ahead and take somebody else's company and say, listen, if you take we get a lot of guys and girls that I call Greg and I go, is there anything we can do? And he's like, I would if I had any beds, but I gave 5 beds away last week.
Yeah.
So now I'm full.
Yeah.
And we have to turn them away.
Broke.
We have to, and he's broke. but we have to turn them away. This is an
Yeah.
alternative that people can go ahead and detox themselves off an opiate by taking this formulation that they've come up with.
I'm
It's
hoping
big
that we
news.
could use
Yeah.
have like Medicare, Medicaid, and a lot of times there's people who are embarrassed or they don't have the money or they got 4 kids and they're trying to survive
Right.
and they can't say anything about it, and they'll be able to, for a couple of $100, have a kit that they can just take it home. It works,
And it's
they'll be-
private,
yeah, it's
really
private,
private.
and they'll be good. They'll need to do some follow-up
Right.
therapies and some things, but they can do it, you know, at their own discretion.
Yeah.
And
It's
and it's
hard.
not going to be expensive. It's going to be cheap.
I have people almost every day saying, like, we don't have insurance, what can we do? We don't have insurance, what can we do? And one of the hardest parts of it is the detox process, because it's painful and it's uncomfortable and, you know, it's expensive. And so having a product like this where people have access to it, it just makes things
It'll give a
easier.
soft
It's a
landing.
softer landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's a good way to put
and
it.
it's affordable, and then we can obviously we promote like other things in recovery, therapy, doctors, you know.
It's not a
meetings,
medicine. It's
but
just a product,
just a
and
product to
and
help
it's
you
kind of
detox.
like a combination of herbs, and they're and we
not
had
like
we
the
had,
herb.
Not
yeah,
those
we,
herbs.
Not that
we had
herb.
different, different things that we had tried, and it was from people that came to me that had nothing, or friends of friends of mine, and we actually found this root in Africa that they use to detox there, and we put it in combinations with the other things,
Right.
and it works. And
So
you
cool.
go through fairly easy, and you can. So if you're on Vicodin or OxyContin, or you're taking too many and you need to slow down, then this'll
do it.
It'll get you over the
So-
hump. And the pain management, it's amazing. I've been giving it to big celebrities that are like old wrestlers and things like that.
Oh, yeah, really
That-
hurting.
This is going to be revolutionary for those people that are athletes, for those people that have to worry about how they test. But here's an alternative that's totally homeopathic and natural, and you go ahead and you take it, and it stops you from being in pain.
Yeah, the Vivera is just a pain management that it's non-addicting and non-opiate, and I had a really good month, and I was trying to figure out, man, because I just tried it. These guys, I was doing a real estate thing, and they go, hey, we're doing this, and I tried this, and all of a sudden I could drive without having back pain, my neck didn't hurt, my feet didn't hurt, and I'm going, I'm pain free for the first time. I had a broken neck and I
Years.
hurt every single day, and I don't hurt anymore.
That's
I'm good.
amazing,
Amazing.
Greg.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
All right, more with Soba. You guys don't go anywhere after the break. And we are back with Soba Recovery. Alex has joined us, and we always want to help our viewers if they're in a really bad situation right now, if they have someone who they think is in trouble, they don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do. Alex, what can they do today, right now?
They can call or text the phone number that's been on the screen. If you want to shoot us a text and say, I'd love to do a tour, we're heading right out to the treatment center after the show. So, yeah,
You'll be
just start
there.
with the phone call. Yeah, we'll all be there.
I like that you can text now, and you guys, that's something new you started doing a while back, and it gives people a little privacy.
You know, it was a really smart decision on Alex's part. He thought about, he was looking into things that don't happen, and people get worried. They get the stigma, and they're calling it. Texting is a little more anonymous.
Right.
It's a nice first step to reach Alex or whoever, and then as you have a little bit of conversation, you realize, oh, they're not going to straitjacket me, and because they have this impression of what's going to happen. This is a beautiful ranch here in Texas. There's animals, and it's really a nice place.
You can
It's
also
gorgeous.
hit us up in our direct messages
Yeah.
too, because we always direct people to where they need to go.
And I
we
have
answer
people
it.
from here that go to Malibu too.
There you go.
You want a little
There's
nice
always
weather,
that.
summertime,
Yeah.
be on the
Beautiful
beach.
beach.
Come on.
All
we'll
right,
go to
Soba
Malibu.
Texas is open. You can text or call them. There's the number right there on your screen. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks.
People think courage is simply walking through fear. Courage is not running from yourself. I believed getting sober meant I would lose my edge. Turns out, I was wrong. I only surrendered the things that were holding me back. But all those fears I've faced over the years pale in comparison to the courage it took me to get sober. When you think your world is falling apart, it's actually coming together. I have found my freedom and will do anything to protect it. And so can you.